What's up, y'all? Good morning. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Well, we got our first commute. We're going to take the new GSXR to work and film a little internal town commuting. So let's get this bad boy going. Bike is so far fantastic. Zero problems, flawless, as all of my other Suzukis have pretty much been. As I've mentioned to you guys in a couple other videos, 5 owned here in total. So, yeah, whatever, I'm a little partial to it, this, that, whatever. But I still really haven't had any major problems, like meaning no thrown rods, no blown clutches, even as much as I've raced. Just wearing out, from obviously slipping them back and forth, at the drag strip and stuff like that. But nothing that's been out of normal wear and tear and normal maintenance based off of what I've been doing with the bike. But let's focus here on this bike specifically, because this is exactly what we are going to talk about and commuting with this thing. So, as I've touched base on pretty much all of my other bikes, including the Gromski, how is it this bike commuting? Well, I'll say it's just as good as commuting this bike as it is with the BMW S1000RR over there. The riding position is very relaxed. There's not so much pressure, of course, here that we always talk about on the Ducatis and some of the other sport bikes, where it's not so much on your wrists and the bottom parts of your wrist and make your palms feel like they're just being pounded consistently into the ground. So you sit a little bit more relaxed. Now, just like, as I've mentioned before, some people find that a problem when they're riding a sport bike and it's not so much on the racetrack. Well, again, I believe it's to each his own, but I will say, given the aggressive riding position that my Ducati V4 has over there, it does help in some areas when you are tucked down, hauling ass around corners. So I do give it that, absolutely. But for street manners, this riding position is great, just how it is, as it is on the S1000RR over there. Handle grips, they're not super thin. They're big, bulky, so you can grab them so they don't dig in. You get a whole grip directly around. It's perfectly good. The seat, super plush, fluffy, got a good amount of cushion foot. As again, I said, I rode this thing home from Tampa, 3.5 hours. You move around a little bit. You get up every hour or so to fill up with gas and such, because obviously only have a couple gallons of gas that these bikes hold, and it does perfectly fine. My ass wasn't hurting. It wasn't chapped. I wasn't, dancing around like I had to get off or anything like that. It was pretty good. So if you're riding around here on the street, commuting back and forth to work, it's great. Now, with the R model, obviously, it comes with these super soft tires. You may want to upgrade these to, a lot of people like the Corsas from, what is that, that comes on the Ducati. The Rossos, Diablo Rosa Corsas. So those are pretty good, made by Pirelli. I also like that I run on my S1000, the Qualifiers by Dunlop. Those are fantastic tires. I've had nothing but great experiences with them. But obviously use up what comes up on the bike. I'm not the biggest Bridgestone Battle Axe tire guy, but given these are the stickier compounds, they do pretty good. I'm not complaining. So, but we'll see what the market has available, and also based on price at the time when we decide to change out these tires or when they wear out. Everything else, gas mileage is great. It's on point, 45, 40 miles a gallon, as long as you're not driving it like a dick, beating on it all the time. When you're beating on it, you probably drop into the mid to high 20s, maybe low 30s at best. But it's a 1000, not a 600, so if you drive it like a dick, well, you can expect shitty gas mileage as you should, because you got to feed the cylinders with something besides air. So absolutely, suspension is perfectly great. You can adjust it, make it super stiff, super smooth. Compression, rebound, preload. It's really good, set up, for the ultimate hybrid style bike, where it does really well on the track when you want to have it go get down on the track, and it can get down and throw down on the track and dip into them turns. And then when you're driving over some railroad tracks and shit and just taking the bumps that you're going to get normally going up and down the street, it does perfectly fine. As opposed to the V4 over here under the cover, this thing is just set up super aggressive. And it makes it kind of a bitch to ride on the street. But let me tell you, when you start to really dig it into those turns and ride around in those turns, man, does it handles like nothing else. So you got to have a balance and a compromise between them. But jumping back and forth, you know, just overall, how does it drive and ride, and could you daily commute with this bike? Out of all my bikes, between this one and the S1000, hands down, are the best, the most comfortable. The riding position is great, you're relaxed, and it has great power. And again, this is the way it is right here while I'm filming it. Everything is still all stock, no flash, no crazy exhaust or anything. That's how it's going to be. And for the average Joe, I would say it's got more than enough go. The torque is outrageous on this bike. It's perfect. It reminds me a lot of the Hayabusa. And then, of course, once you put the pipes on it as well with the flash, it just makes it even come to life just that much more. So out of the box, again, I really think Suzuki did a great job and a home run with this thing. And if you're looking for a great bike, you know, dollar for dollar, I call it kind of like the LS of the bikes. It is a home run. Definitely go to your local power sports dealer, check one out, sit on one. Maybe they might let you take one around, you know, for the block. Now, I haven't really heard of many sport bike places that will allow you to test ride them. But then again, I was actually able to test ride the V4 before I bought it, and I obviously ended up buying it. So it all depends on your dealership, but definitely check one out. You know, don't write it off completely if you've maybe upgraded to a Ducati or an Aprilia or anything like that, or an MV Agusta. Still, you know, give the Japanese bikes, you know, the credit where credit's due, because this is really a home run. And now that technology, you know, a few years ago, BMW really painted the path for electronics and such to go on bikes, and now everything is really starting to catch up. Everything that bike had that was one-off, now it's becoming standard on everything else. It doesn't really matter the brand. So it really makes the strive for innovation obviously a lot better, and I think this is a great bike. And I'm not just trying to discredit any of the other big brands, you know, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and Honda, you know, MV Agusta, none of them. Definitely all check them out, but get what makes you happy, and this one made me happy, and overall I think this is a great commuter bike for the money, and it's a home run. So I just wanted to share those thoughts with you, share a little bit of what I thought. Again, if y'all liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Instagram at the Speedbug, same name here as YouTube, and we will check y'all for another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Deuces.